Alright, let's do this. Black Adam is a horrible disaster.
Now what you're going to see here is why the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Oh no.
The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
The hierarchy of power is about to change. Sure, it did though, it did.
Things will never be the same because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Spoiler warning. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe didn't change. The Batman remains the only good comic book movie that released in 2022.
Did the Joker come out in 2022? I don't think so, right? 2021 or 2020?
Surprised Black Adam is getting mixed reception and not just flat out bad reception. I didn't expect to like this movie. The trailers didn't impress me, but I was shocked by how much I disliked this movie. I didn't really have any expectations for the movie,
I like the
as
movie.
the only real knowledge I have about the character comes from the Injustice video game series. However, Black Adam takes all the elements of bad superhero flicks and crams them into one loud and messy movie. While it does have some exciting action sequences,
for the action, especially the action sequences, was different than a lot of DC things that they did before, and I really liked it. I mean, you cannot go wrong with The Rock in an action sequence, but also the story itself, the characters, everything about it was really fun. I would not say like new, different. It just was fun. It was entertaining.
it also had too many characters, not enough backstory.
Too many characters. No, there was enough backstory. They couldn't have made and shoved so much backstory for every single character, but they gave us a treat, and they maybe wanted to develop these stories in the future movies. However, unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Backstory, heavy-handed messages, bad acting, forced unfunny humor, sloppy editing, and an over-reliance on CGI. There was...
Man, come on, you just mentioned every single superhero movie. We don't watch it for the good acting. But the CGI, I don't think it was that bad. I think DC had worse CGI movies. This one actually looked good, except some parts. For example, the Hawkman wings around this woman was terribly done, for example. But
little story, even less character development, and no genuine nemesis until the last 20 minutes. I spent the first half of the movie confused, and the second half annoyed and bored. But let's go over the different aspects of the movie one by one. Starting with the most important one by far in this movie, the action. Because the movie consists of pretty much only action. I don't think I've ever seen a comic book movie that had this much action. While action of course isn't a bad thing, too much action is. Movies have to find a balance between action and story. You have to make the action engaging by first establishing the story and establishing the characters. You need character development, and you need to make the viewers feel attached to the characters, care about them, so that when you actually arrive at an action scene, eventually, the viewers are engaged in it. Their eyes have to be glued to the screen. Most superhero movies get the main concept of how to make action engaging. Only a handful succeed at trying to accomplish that. But Black Adam doesn't even try to accomplish it. We get the first action scene just 5, maybe 10 minutes into the movie, where the introduced characters get into a life-threatening situation in a cave. It escalates into a big fight with dozens of explosions. But we as the viewers don't care about who lives and who dies.
I mean, let's be honest, he would complain if there was not enough action as well. He would be like, the first 20 minutes of the movie was just people talking. There was no action. I wasn't interested. I was bored. Like, you can have this, like, it's the same opinion.
We don't know any of the characters. The movie gave us no reason to like them. We only get a 2-minute introduction to Black Adam's backstory. Shortly after, we are thrown into this action set piece where he's attacked, but it's clear from the start that he won't die. He's indestructible, and it's the beginning of his movie. The other characters though, like the mother and her brother, I couldn't care less. Actually, I didn't care about any of them.
If you didn't care about them, then why would you need a backstory for these characters? Maybe these are just passing characters. They're not that important, you know. They just add to the actual story, or they're just like an add-on, you know, a skin. Basically,
Throughout
they're
the
not
entire
that
movie.
important.
But that's another problem the movie has.
Except
that
these
it
two
never
guys, I
achieves
love
to
them.
make any of the characters likable. So back to the action.
What?
Shortly after that action
I
set
love
piece,
the
we already get the
side
next
heroes.
action scene. Shortly after that, the next one. Then the next. Then the next. There's almost no time between them. The movie's sole focus seems to get from one action scene to the next. And the action isn't even good. Something I'm constantly criticizing the MCU for is its too heavy reliance on CGI. But Black Adam does exactly the same. Everything is green screen and pumped full of CGI. And the slow motion is absolutely overused in this movie. But the biggest problem is the
There was a bit
over-reliance on action
too much
while
slow
barely
motion,
featuring
but
story and little
like
to
it
no
still.
character development. And the characters are the next flaw of the movie. Even ignoring the fact that they race-swapped Hawkman and Cyclone, the characters were a weak point of the movie. They gave no backstory to the new characters, this Justice Society.
Yes, but that's why there are other movies. It's about Black Adam. You cannot introduce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heroes and give backstory for every single one of them. Like, you know, in Guardian of the Galaxy, we didn't get every backstory of every character immediately, and we didn't hate on it. Guardian of the Galaxy 1. In Guardian of the Galaxy 2, we got the story of, for example, Rocket, or the backstory of Rocket. And this is the thing, we had to wait for another movie to have the space for it. What we cared about is them becoming a team and working together, and the way they develop their relationship. That's how we learn more about the characters. For example, Black Adam would learn more about Cyclone by talking with her while eating shawarma in whatever, or kebab in a restaurant. And that's how we would learn more about it, you know, through them learning about each other, because they as well are a new team for each other.
They just showed up in this movie like we've all known them for years. No explanation.
Not really. Black Adam didn't know them for years. You could see that every single one of them just got introduced there.
And no backstory. And Cyclone and that Atom Boy barely got any screen time and were pretty much completely useless throughout the entire movie. And they had a mom giving orders to them. A bunch of powerful superheroes.
They're not
And they
that
actually
powerful,
took them from her like, what? The mother and son added no emotion or value to the film. The kid was annoying and rode that skateboard in virtually every scene to escape someone. It feels like one long third act with
Was
no
the
real
kid annoying
setup
for
or
it?
time
Just
dedicated
the
to flesh out
kid.
any of the side characters. The Justice Society of America feels like an early 2000s sci-fi channel ripoff of the first Avengers movie. But Dwayne Johnson does a wonderful job of playing Dwayne Johnson. Seriously, he couldn't even be bothered to wear a wig or have prosthetics on his ears to at least try to resemble the character. He couldn't even attempt to do an accent since literally every single other character from his country has one. And he literally had one look throughout the entire film. I'm sorry, but people criticized Brie Larson as Captain Marvel for showing no emotion and having just one or two facial expressions throughout the movie. One serious one and one with a cool smirk. And that criticism is justified, but The Rock should be
So he is hating on The Rock and his acting style. Like, this guy hates on Rock. That's it. Like, yo, The Rock is a bad actor. Like, that's what he's trying to tell you.
criticized equally in my opinion, because he literally felt like a rock as Black Adam. He has zero emotional range and plays the same character in every movie he's been in. He brings no depth to the role and it does.
No, best paid actor in the world. I mean, he's not an Oscar. Okay, he's not an Oscar-worthy performer. All right, he doesn't have that big of a talent for Oscar. But what he lacks, he brings in other aspects. His action there, like just his persona. It's even if he acts himself in every single movie. If you like The Rock, you will enjoy every single movie he does portray himself in. It doesn't matter. Of course, you can hate on the movie or the storytelling or whatever, but hating on him
Doesn't help
It's
that
him,
him
it's The
and
Rock, you
Hawkman
can't
are
do
given the
that.
cringiest lines. I also
You
don't
can't
understand
change him.
how in the world Hawkman put up a fight with Black Adam. He's a guy with metal wings against a freaking god who's able to compete with Superman. But anyway, a lot in this movie didn't make sense. Oh, and I almost forgot about the villain. This has to be one of the most forgettable villains out of any Marvel or DC movie. The creators only threw him in there for the final 20 minutes of the movie, to give the heroes one final fight where they are fighting on the same team. What's the villain's background other than being a descendant of the original villain 5,000 years ago? Honestly, the movie would have benefited if Black Adam would have just been the bad guy and the heroes had a real motivation to...
Maybe. I think there is, with this villain, this devil, whatever, I don't even know his name. It was 5 minutes fight. The whole movie is about the coming of this guy or the rebirth of this guy. Sabak, all right? His name is Sabak. All right, he comes to the scene and you're like, wow, okay, now it's gonna be awesome fight for the end, you know, like the climax, whatever. 5 minutes, bro. Not even 5 minutes. He gets destroyed, like it's One Punch Man situation. Black Adam joins, one punches this guy, and this guy goes back to hell or whatever. That's it. That's it. And the whole movie comes to that climax, and then it ends there. Like, I really felt disappointed with this enemy. I was like, supposed to be like the greatest evil, but just talk, no do. Got destroyed in 1 second. Like, what the hell?
to stop him. Would have been much better. It's a movie with no laughs, heart, or anything tangible to grasp. Black Adam is another classic case of DC skipping 7 steps ahead of themselves and put together whatever this is. It doesn't exactly have a plot. Instead, it's got massive exposition dumps, interspersed with endless poorly motivated and uninventively choreographed fight scenes. Collet Serra seems to think that slow-mo and Eye of God shots make for imaginative and involving visuals.
I like the
He is
slow-mo,
wrong.
not in every
This film is
single one
about
of
more
them, though.
underdeveloped super beings and a script obsessed with reminding us that Black Adam is not a conventional hero. Bad acting, cinematography, storytelling, writing, and characters. It has bad CGI in some scenes and bad song choices at the wrong times. Black Adam is boring and one
Some of the song choices were like, dude, are we in the 90s? Like, this song was hyped like 20 years ago. Why is this song now the main action sequence song, you know? Why don't you make your own music, you know, your own soundtrack, something unique, different? Like, make something that belongs to Black Adam and only Black Adam. Like, somebody will hear that song and be like, I know that song from Black Adam. It's the same with Peacemaker intro, for example. Like, DC knows how to do it unique, differently, even though the song is not original. But I hear the song and I'm like, Peacemaker, brah, intro. That's it. Like, make it
of the
different.
worst superhero movies of recent years. People will only
Harry
talk about
Potter,
the
yeah, of
mid-credit
course,
scene.
Harry
That's it. That's the
Lord of the
only
Rings.
interesting thing that happened. Black Adam is an awful movie and I will probably never watch it again.
Probably.
But what do you think? Do you agree or disagree?
Definitely.
Tell me in the
like,
comments
a
and
lot
like
of
the video and
disagreeing.
subscribe to the channel for more videos
Yeah, man.
on DC.
Did he say even one good thing about this movie? Even one good thing? Hierarchy of power hasn't broken even at the box office yet. Ay, ay, ay. The horrible dialogue slapped me in the face harder than any of the other flaws that you mentioned. Every line is exposition and everyone speaks their subtext. They all talk at the level of high school students. Though most high school students could write better than this. They misinterpreted this movie for let's say the Joker or the Batman type of movie. Like, they thought that Black Adam is gonna be the equivalent of the Batman, and you can't really do that with The Rock. You knew who is acting in the movie, so you probably knew it's gonna be a fun, dumb, full of action movie. And if you expected anything else, that's on you, man. Honestly, that's on you. The family was literally the worst thing that happened to the movie. The kid was so annoying. Holy shiz. There were so many more annoying kids in superhero movies. I'm gonna be honest. That kid wasn't the most annoying kid ever. Bro, he didn't even put himself in danger more than like twice. There are superhero movies where the kid puts himself in danger 10 times in a row in like 2 hours. Like, it's crazy. What? Alright. These are people who mostly agree with him. I don't know. I don't really agree. What do you think? It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. It was meh. It was entertaining. Dumb fun. Dumb fun. That's what I think. Nothing that I didn't even expect more. I genuinely didn't. I didn't expect me going and watching Endgame type of movie, or I don't know, the next Batman movie.